What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the La Liga Career Mode. It's episode number 15 and today we're returning with a brand new season as we enter the Champions League for the first time ever with Almeria, where our budget is £103 million. That's what Champions League football can do to a club. Monster budget for the first time in the save. And as we take a look at our squad for the new season and assess where we'll be spending that £103 million. So I did say this in the season finale for those who watched that. Last year we had the best defensive record in La Liga. I'm not too concerned about the back line at all. Yes, you might say a lack of quality and depth, but really, despite Centelles and Aguirrezabala being 79 overall, they feel like they're better than that. I'm thinking mostly long-term successor for Delafeu, possibly dropping Timber down to CDM/CM and looking for someone to replace Melamed on that right-hand side, the left-footed inside forward. If we've got the money to bring in those sort of players, that's where I'll mostly be looking. Last season, our big problem was depth. We ran out of steam towards the end of the season. I have extended Marciano's contract, by the way, so we're staying here as a squad striker. But really, to me, if we want to stay in the top four, I'd say, yeah, that's where we need to be looking. New inside forward on the right, and possibly a new playmaker too, if we keep Delafeu up top, otherwise a new striker. And let's see if we have any players with potential upgrades or players with their deals are coming to the end of the year. Kaiki has come back again and still shows great potential. He's had 2 loan spells now, and yet he's still not really growing like I want him to, man. So once again, I'm going to add him to the loan list because, again, he needs to play. And here he's 4th choice. Whilst he's not growing like I thought he would, he needs the game time. So we'll quickly run through the squad here. Again, see if there's anything we need to take a closer eye on. But for the most part, yeah, the team's pretty set now. We're gelling as a unit. We're growing together as a core. Like I mentioned, the best thing about this Almeria side is that it's a young team. Yes, there's a couple of senior players in here, such as Delafeu, such as Sergio Rico, but for the most part, it's a really, really young team, and therefore it's just getting better year after year, and during the year as well. And I'm going to be honest, man, I've already got my number 1 target in mind, and I'm just going to bring him in straight away because we'll have the money. He's out of contract come the end of the season, and after moving on to Saudi Arabia at such a young age, people saying, oh, he's destroyed his career going out there. Personally, I don't believe that at all, in my opinion, but we know this guy's a heck of a young talent. But not settling in Saudi Arabia, wanting to be back in Spain, and now coming to the Champions League as well. Out of contract come the end of the season, Al Ahly not wanting to lose him on a free transfer. Gabri Veiga, he's got to come back to Spain, man. My number 1 target, I'm bringing him in. Yeah, I personally don't believe what people have been saying about him ruining his career going to Saudi Arabia at such a young age. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe that at all. I think it could be really good for his character, building and developing over there. But again, out of contract coming the end of the season, now 23. You know, he's going to want to play in Europe's top 5 leagues. He's going to want to play in the Champions League. Match made in heaven. Gabri Veiga back to Spain for 38 mil. A 5-year deal on 70 grand a week. I don't know how much he actually earns at Saudi Arabia, but I'm sure it's more than the 40 grand the game's got him on. So technically it's a wage increase within the save, but I don't know how much of a wage decline it would be in real life. Even so, I'd say to return and to take a pay cut like most players would, I'd say 70 grand a week is reasonably fair. And Gabri Veiga is in on a 5-year deal, and I'm buzzing with this as well. He originally took the number 7, and I was like, bro, no, that's Ramazani's number, man. You might be a really solid young player, but you're going to have to wear number 24 you've been wearing in real life throughout your career. So yeah, coming in here, I would definitely say, looking at the stats here, He does remind me as one of those sort of players that can sort of play all through the midfield trio of positions, you know, CAM, CM, and CDM. But I would say, unlike Robertone, unlike Timber, he's better suited to CAM, in my opinion. It would only take him 2 weeks to become a natural playmaker. And whilst I'll keep him CM for now, I do want to get those work rates up to high if possible. This guy, to me, is going to be ideal in that CAM role as you drop Timber down to CDM. And so as our budget drops down to around 57 mil with wage budget considerations, and Kaiki says he's glad that he'll be going out on loan. I love how he said I've not been enjoying my football here lately. I was like, bro, you haven't played since I've been here. But it's Hoffenheim who have put a bid in for a 2-year loan, and I'm totally sending him there to the Bundesliga. I'm quite surprised. I do wonder if maybe I've overestimated just how good this guy is, because I thought he was one of the better young CBs in La Liga. But since he's been out on loan at Albacete and then in Benfica last year, like I said, he's only gone up by about 3 ratings since I've been here. For such a young talent, only 21 now, I thought it would be about 78, 79 overall now. And as we negotiate a split for Hoffenheim with Kaiki. Palace also put on a loan bid. I'm happy to send him there as well. This is an interesting one, real briefly on this. Sorry, let me just do the Kaiki loans real quick. But you might have seen there, Barca putting in a bid for Monchu. Now, like I said, I didn't plan to sell anyone. But if we're doing things in terms of realism, I mean, it's tough to turn down a dream move like that for a player, right? Granted, we finished top 4 last year, Barca finished in 5th, but they're still of a far bigger stature as a club than we are as Little Almeria right now. And we sold Lucas Robertone there. Gabri Vega's just come in. Once you might drop to the bench, to be fair. I kind of prefer a Lopi Vega 1-2. Lopi Timber 1-2, sorry. Oh, man. I might just have to sell him there, you know, for the realism. Came through the Barcelona Youth Academy, so was a homegrown talent there in Catalonia. And with that being the case, we talk about it often, it's very helpful for squad registration rules in European competitions. Barca may have missed out on the Champions League, but they're still a European side. And whilst he's grown really nicely with us, I don't think it would be fair to block him for a dream return to Barcelona. But come on, Xavi, he's worth a bit more than that in modern day football, I would say. Let's go 38 mil, hardball Xavi here. And wow, really? 35 mil? Come on, 35 mil. So 11 mil. What? Surely he's worth more than that. 33 million. Come on, that's not even a lot. Okay, 33 million for a homegrown CM. I think Xavi's fleeced me there. He's worth more than that, I would say, in modern day football, especially when you adjust for inflation as well. Several years spent at the La Masia Academy, leaving Barcelona reluctantly, to be fair, to join Granada, but now returning to Catalonia. I have to say, this is a move which I didn't think would be fair if I stood in his way. Sometimes you just got to let it go through, man. Both for the realism, the challenge, but also for the feel of the career mode, you know. So Monchu returning to Barcelona, and will take the 33 mil, which personally I think is a bit of an undersale, but just couldn't stand in his way. So that now raises our budget up to, I would say, around 87 mil with wage budget considerations. I'm saying this really casually, as if we've ever had this sort of money before. We haven't. This is the richest Almeria have ever been. And looking at the squad now on the sale of Monchu, that means that Lopi would now come back into the CDM slot, which, to be fair, I was probably going to do anyway. Monchu this season will most likely come off the bench, so we could have one DM and one sort of box-to-box there, because Lopi's an anchor man. Monchu's more of a creator, if you will. I wouldn't mind another backup CDM then, or CM, to replace Monchu, but I'd say now with the money we got, I said this year, I wanted a new playmaker if we keep Delafeu up top, and a new inside forward on the right that's got a left foot. And I've got plenty of names on the shortlist. So I would say my number one target is going to be one of the top talents you can get on a decent price in this year's career mode, which is Johan Bakayoko of PSV, the young Belgian winger. Right wing with a left foot, 4-star skill moves, 4-star weak foot, and out of contract coming the end of the season. This one makes perfect sense. I know he's quite overused in this year's CM, but I haven't used him yet, so it'd be nice to give him a go for the first time. There are other names on the shortlist I think could do a decent job for us. I think Nico Williams is just a bit too much for us right now in this, our third season. Maybe sometime in the future, though. Rodri, a young Spanish talent, moving on from Betis to Valencia in the save. Savio, who we know is just an absolute baller of a young talent at Girona right now, going back to his parent club, Troyes. I like this move a lot, to be fair. Played in La Liga before as well. Could afford him, but again, in terms of value for money, we'd be better to go in for Bakayoko, I would say. But yeah, to me, it's either Savio or Bakayoko. Yan Couto would be perfect for our system, but would he want to move back to La Liga? Now he's establishing himself at Man City. I'm not too sure. Zaikankov as well is another target of mine, again, with Girona right now. But I would say in terms of value for money, I mean, let's be honest here, one stands out above the rest as the best fit for us. A player that I've never used before. The ideal fit and out of contract coming the end of the season, meaning we can get him for under market valuation. I know he's used a lot in this year's CM, but I've never had him. So I'd love to give him a go for the first time. Johan Bakayoko, it's time to make the move to a top 5 European league and come and join Almeria. For £33.5 million, well under market valuation on a 5-year, 50 grand a week deal. This might prove to be the best bargain of the save. And he's in at Almeria. Almeria. He's the driving force behind PSV's hunt for an unbeaten Eredivisie title this season, but now he's off to La Liga, now he's off to Almeria, and now we've got a star on that right-hand side with the left foot. I am buzzing for this because I know he's really overused in this year's career, but I haven't used him yet. It'll be my first time giving him a go, and I'm excited to see if he's worth the hype. Welcome to the Power Horse Stadium, Johan Bakayoko, and again, just 22 years old. This is a sensational young talent. 4-star, absolutely rapid, 92 agility, and amazing end product of 89 dribbling, 90 ball control, and he can finish with 75 as the stat as well. I want to get the work rates up to high, because you know what I'm like. I got a fetish for high defensive work rates on all of my players, but this is the real deal, and this is the guy we were looking for on that right-hand side. What a bargain. That's a heck of a piece of business, that, isn't it? Monchu going to Barca for 33 million, replacing him for basically the same fee with Bakayoko. Granted, obviously different positions, I understand that, but even so, I think I've done quite well there, to be honest, making the best of a bad situation, just like me life. So, following that, we see that Kaiki's turned down a move to Hoffenheim, so it seems as though he's now going to go to Crystal Palace. Totally fine with me. Like I said, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And Levante want to take Richard on loan, so totally fine with that. So loan to buy. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I always turn down a loan of option to buy. But in the case of someone like Richard, who isn't really going to play here anyway, to be honest, I'm actually alright with that, to be fair. So I might just negotiate that split real quick. And I'm alright with that. To me, like, I don't mind like letting a player leave on a permanent deal if they don't have that much potential. I'm not too sure about Richard, 20 years old, 68 overall. So if we can get 2.65 mil for him on the back of a year's loan, I don't think that's a bad deal for both parties. And that is not what I wanted to see. Oh, I don't know about that one. I really don't. I said before, we don't have to do everything with 100% realism in mind, but that is a huge, huge bid for the captain from Liverpool in the post-Klopp era. He's on 25 grand a week. I've made him my club captain. He led us to the Champions League last year. Edgar, how about for double your salary? Yeah, Liverpool will be a Champions League team, just like us as well. It's not like he's taken a step down in terms of European football. He'd be moving to the bright lights of the Premier League for the first time ever. But, you know, he spent his whole career in Spain. Maybe like Jesus Navas, you know, he doesn't really want to go. And he'd feel a bit homesick when he gets there. Oh, man, he's my captain. He's still growing. He's one of my senior leaders. I can't lose him, man. Edgar, how much do you want, bro? How much do you want? Without Edgar, there is a gaping hole in our back line, which I don't think we could fill. So with that being the case, I'm going to give him a 1-year extension and just say, for the realism, he get a lot of money if he went to Liverpool. I'm going to match it. I'm going to treble his salary and put him on 75 grand a week. He's the captain. He was in the team of the season last year. I'll give him a €1 million bonus as well. Like I said, we don't need to do this, but realistically, this is the only way I think he'd agree to stay here at Almeria. €1 million sign-on bonus for the loyalty, 75 grand a week, wages trebled, an extra year on his contract. Edgar is staying and doing his best Leo DiCaprio impression. And there we go, Kaiki is off to Crystal Palace on a 2-year loan deal, so we'll keep an eye on him there at Selhurst Park. Hopefully, for the first time, he'll finally start to grow, because he needs to get a move on if he's going to make a mark in this Almeria team with the rate of progression we're having right now. But hopefully, he's got a first-team squad number there, number 6, so hopefully he'll develop there in South London. Interestingly enough, I have just seen something quite curious to me. First of all, massive bid for Pablo Maffio from PSG, which, again, you know, we're going to discuss this in a moment, guys, but give me a second, because Dion Lopez just come to me and said, boss, considering my contributions to the team, what you're paying other players, I feel like I should be on better money. I'd be really grateful if you sit down with me and my agent so we could take a look at my contract. Dion, for the past 2 years, has been solid. So I'm going to say, we'll get to it soon enough. Maybe not right now. I've got a lot of things on my plate. But I think he does deserve a bit of money. I often talk about this. Like, for me, there's always, like, one player in my team that is just so consistently good but never gets the credit. Dion Lopey for the past 2 years has not put a foot wrong in this Almeria side. He's been solid, and on the back of the side of Monchu, he is going to be a starter. So whilst he still has 4 years, I might give him a wage increase too. He's the anchor man in this team. He's the player that just sits back and allows everyone to go forward and attack. I'm going to give you a new contract, bro. I'm putting at least 1 more year on there. So he plays an invaluable role in our team, and now with Timber dropping to CM, he'll be the box to box, which means that Lopey again will be filling that gap, sat behind him. Let's take him to 30 grand a week. We're a Champions League team now, we can afford that. 30 grand a week, and he's totally fine with that. You know, if you put the shift in, and if you've done it consistently, in my opinion, you deserve the reward. In the case of Dion Lopey, it's a new 1-year extension, and also almost treble the money as well. Deserved. But of course, we still need to figure out what we're going to do with Pablo Mafia. Who have PSG got at right back? Because, I mean, Pablo's only been here for a year. He was brilliant last season in his debut year for us. A couple of goals, a couple of assists. I'm just wondering, would he even start at it? I mean, they've got Malo Gusto, who is just an unbelievable young talent right now at Chelsea, who's moved on. Nordi Mukiele is still there as well, though he looks as though he's on his way to Arsenal. Kyle Walker is there as a vet. I mean, is he going to start? Let's be honest, PSG just came on the back of winning a Champions League, so of course Pablo's going to want to go there. But I'm going to say to the French Giants, however, if you want him, you're going to have to give me a lot of money for him. 31 mil just is not going to cut it. It'll be a massive move for Mafia, you know, to go to the Champions League winners, but he's worth more than that fee they've just put the offer in for. There we go, that's a bit better. I think we should be able to squeeze a lot of pennies out of PSG. 43 mil. 43 mil. Couldn't really stand in his way. A chance to play under Luis Enrique. You know Mafia would love that as well. And he's off to the Parc des Princes. Tough to stand in his way there. And so, as we see, Richard leave on loan to Levante for a year. Although that move should become permanent come the end of the season. And Dion say thank you for the wage increase, but it's time to go back to work. We should now see, there we go, Pablo Mafia agreed to join Paris Saint-Germain. That's a tough one, man. That's a really, really tough one. We had the best back line in La Liga last season. We were the best defensive team, and therefore we know that European giants are going to come calling for some of our defenders. We turned down the bid for Liverpool from Liverpool for Edgar, but for Mafia to go to the Champions League winners, I'm not going to stand his way. For 43 mil, we'll take the cash. And so as we take a look at the budget, which is now up to around 85 million, I would say, on the sales of Monchu and Mafia, 2 big sales there. I'm looking at Manchester City's team right now, and there's a reason for that. It's because they've got one of my top targets in Arnau Martinez, but Issa Kabore is still there, Rico Lewis is still there, and whilst they've lost Kyle Walker, they've got enough cover and starters that they could play at right back if Martinez was to leave and come back to Spain. And he's also out of contract come the end of the season. There's uncertainty about his future there at the Etihad. Would it be wrong for me to say, leave Manchester, come back to Spain, where you'll be a regular starter here replacing Pablo Mafia, and you'll still be in the Champions League as well? Is that so wrong? Is that so wrong? I don't know. Personally speaking, with the cover that Man City have, I don't think that's wrong at all, because don't forget, that's at right back, but they've also got Yan Couto, who's come back to them. Yan Couto, who we know, granted, is nowhere near as good defensively as he is going forward, but he can play right back and wing back as well. So really, I would say Yan Couto or Arnau Martinez would both be a good fit here. Because Man City can't play them all. You know, Kabore, Rico Lewis as well, they can't play them all. And I'm going to say with the one player out of all of them that has their contract coming to the end of the season, uncertain future, available on a cut price deal, it's time to come back to Spain. Arnau Martinez, sporadic game time at Man City, deal up in 12 months, swap the Etihad for Bauhaus Stadium and come back to your native Spain. So he moved on in the summer of season 1, so he spent 2 years there, but clearly not what you call an integral piece to Manchester City's team. Think about Sergio Gomez at Man City right now. If you've got a Spanish fullback there at the Etihad, does not get much game time. For 32 mil, coming back to Andalusia, I like this move. I think it works for all parties involved. On a rotation squad role, with his contract expiring come the end of the season, this deal to me makes absolutely perfect sense. Coming back to his native Spain, now off to the south to play in Andalusia as our new number 2 and our replacement to Pablo Mafia. I think this deal makes sense for all parties involved. Welcome to the Powerhorse Stadium, Arnau Martinez. Yeah, there's a few Spanish fullbacks that are really, really good in this year's FC. Ivan Fresneda is one I've used a couple of times, but I haven't used Martinez yet, and I'm really excited to give him a go as well. He's 6 foot, he can definitely be slid in to play as an RCB as well, but in my opinion, if we get a slightly low strength and aggression up alongside those defensive stats too, plus the median defensive work rates are high, this guy's going to be a great piece on both the offensive end and the defensive end, and a great like-for-like swap with Pablo Maffio. This is a steal. So our budget now down to 52 mil. When we take a look at the side right now, oh man, it's getting really good, man. Gabri Veiga, Bakayoko, and Martinez coming into the first 11. I'm really starting to like how this team is taking shape. I would say at the moment, if you look at the lack of depth right now, you'd probably say it's primarily at CB. I mean, we've got Muhaid as a third choice, but that's it. You know, obviously we could possibly move Lozano back to CB at 5 at 10 as a ball-playing defender. We can obviously move Martinez to CB if we want to as well. Dion Lope could play there too. But I would say we need a fourth choice centre-half. And there is a player that I'm really keen on right now as well on the shortlist from a relegated Espanyol team that went down last season. You know, I like to sign players from teams that are relegated as well. Cristobal Miranda, 18 years old, new gen, not sure who he's the regen of, but 87 strength as an 18-year-old. This dude's been hitting the weights since he was about 10. Defensive stats are pretty solid, with already 80 defensive awareness as well. He's 6 foot, so he's tall enough, and he's got a bit of pace to him too to play in a high line. With a relegated Espanyol team, a great young talent, only $2.5 grand a week, I'm going to bring him back to La Liga, man. This guy looks solid. 17.5 mil is quite a lot to pay for an 18-year-old, but on a 5-year, 15 grand a week deal, I think he'll prove to be worth every single penny. He's just 18 years old, but already 77 rated. One of the bright spots of Espanyol's relegation season last year, but now bouncing straight back to La Liga with a new team. Welcome to the Powerhorse Stadium. Cristobal Miranda, an exciting prospect that took the number 5 jersey, which I absolutely love. You know, a young player saying, no, I want a first team squad member, man. I want to be in that first team. And to be fair, he could definitely replace Muhaid on the bench. Yes, he's a rating lower, but he is 7 years younger. And to me, you look at his stats here again, already 87 strength, which really, really drew me to him. He's got 80 defensive awareness already as well. I would say personally, get the defensive work rate up from high, try and balance out the acceleration and sprint speed a little bit as well, and improve those tackling stats. Can I get them both up at the same time? Yes, I can. There we go. And this will be a really, really good young talent with that exciting prospect tag too. I'm going to give him the game time, and I think he's going to deserve it as well. He looks really solid. Goodness gracious, all the big transfers happening today. In the midst of this, I also forgot that Mallorca got a £4.3 million chunk of the fee we agreed for Maffio due to the sell-on clause as well. So our budget is now down to, again, just over 31 mil, I would say, of wage budget considerations. It's all happening today, man, seriously. I don't know if we look to make any more signings now, to be fair. I'm quite liking how the team's looking. We've added to the depth slightly. Maybe I might sell Konyi or Milovanovic and then add in possibly a new right back or CM for depth. But other than that, I'm happy with how the team is looking. I'll be more than happy starting the season right now. It's better, it's got a bit more depth, and it's got an awful lot more first team quality as well. It's looking good, man. I'm liking how it's taking shape. Before we do dive into the first game of the season, we have an academy update as well. Obviously, lots and lots of players in our academy now after last season. And, you know, I did say one of the errors I make quite often with my youth players is that I wait too long before giving them pro deals. And it happens at the end of the season, and then they have their potential kind of sucked out of them. So I have seen in the comments a couple of people said, why don't you just promote them at the start of the season then? You know, that completely alleviates that problem. Promote them at the start of the season, Doxy boy, mate, and then loan them out. Great idea, probably the right thing to do. So for certain players that are obviously 15, we can't promote anyway, but 16 and 17, I might just leave them there for now. But in the case of Esteban Carrillo, who is our best prospect, I'm going to give him a pro deal because we know he'll have the potential to be special. I think Jaime Ray, who is 18, he'll ask for a pro deal at some point during the season as well. Going to give him a pro deal and try and loan him out as well. And I might do the same with Ibrahim too, our young Egyptian goalkeeper, who I might actually, you know what, I might just keep him as a possible third choice as well. The rest, however, can stay. So yeah, for those curious, Ray, only showing great potential. I thought this kid was a bowler. I thought he'd have at least exciting prospect, but even so, we'll try and loan him out anyway. But for Carrillo, obviously, that was never in doubt. Potential to be special. this kid is the real deal, man. As a CAM, this is a talent, and I can't help but look at his aesthetic and think maybe Andres Iniesta, maybe, just maybe. So I'm going to add him to the loan list as well. Based on those stats there, yeah, this kid looks unreal, man. So I'm going to add them both to the loan list and get them out. Well, the Blades want to take Ray on a permanent deal, but of course I'm going to say no to that. He literally signed a pro deal 2 days ago, Chris. Come on, stop lurking around my youngsters. Yeah, I'll try and get them both out if I can. Wow. Okay, this guy is in hot demand as a young Colombian, man. But young boys want to take him on loan. I'm totally fine with that. Just need to get these guys to game time, man. Because getting in season 1, they've hold on. Where am I? There we are. They've got no chance of starting and barely even playing at all. So the sooner we get them out on loan, playing some games, the better. Oh, and I love this one as well. Palermo putting in a loan bid for Carrillo. And again, I love this because, again, if you've been keeping up with the save, then you'd know we've got a player out on loan right there now as well. Almeria, who went to Palermo. We've talked about this so often, man, but feeder clubs in Carrillo, that is what is needed, man, because we know the loan system is kind of broken. It works, but not really. But if we could add feeder clubs into the game, that would be so helpful. Almeria with Palermo as a feeder club, sending a couple of youngsters there. I love that. And so, as we see them both leave on loan, raid to young boys, which I would say is quite fitting with him only being 18. Funny. And Carrillo going to join our Saudi centre-half in Palermo as well. Let's play the first game of the season. Once again, the board has said we need to finish in the European place. This year, top 4, though, and that is my aim as well. Don't want to drop out of the Champions League places. If we were good enough last season, we're good enough this year. First game, Valencia away at Mestalla, as we aim to get off to a winning start, just like last season. Vamos Almeria. To me, the way I always measure, progression, if you will, is have you gotten better than last time out? And if the answer is yes, Ramazani straight at Georgia, then you should get better in terms of your finish. Do you know what I mean? If you've improved from last season, then you shouldn't take a step back. You should, practically always take a step forward. And yes, there's going to be things during the season that are going to be out of your control, that are going to be tough to handle. Tiredness, fatigue, rescheduling, injuries, unlucky cup draws, for example. All these things can play a part. But for the most part, if your team's gotten better from last season, then your finish should be better. As we send around Zane down the left-hand side, and I see you. Oh, and he's as good as ever, mate. Our team's gotten better, and he continues to get better. Player of the season with the season opener. To me, this is where, my opinion on player ratings not being that important kind of proves me right, if you will. It's like, of course, player ratings, do have some importance. I get that. But ultimately, the most important thing is how the player gets on for you, how you feel controlling them. Do you know what I mean? And Delafeu, yeah, okay, I get it. He's 31 now. He's 80. Is he 80 or 81 overall? We're a Champions League team. Of course, we could replace him with someone. We could replace him with someone in the team right now, in Sergio Camelo. But he won the Player of the Season last year. He was top 3 in scoring and won the assist title. Why would I replace him? Just because his rating might not be as high as other forwards we could have in that role. If he's constantly balling out, constantly getting goals or assists, and being a crucial member of our team, why would I replace him? It would make absolutely no sense. And I get asked every now and then, would you do away with the rating system? Like in FM, for example, there's no overall rating. Would you do away with it? I don't think I'd do away with it fully. I still think it has its merit. But I always say the player rating shouldn't be the only thing that's the decider as to whether you buy a player or whether you just keep playing a player. It might be a new look Almeria side, but some things never change. A rearguard defensive effort, a clean sheet, and a goal for Delafeu. Yeah, a 1-0 victory against Valencia is how we'll start the season off. And despite all the new signings coming in, it's proven to put him right there. This side still belongs to our number 9 up top. But that'll do it for today's episode of the La Liga Carrillo, guys. So big thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. And I'll see you for the next episode of the La Liga Carrillo very soon, which you won't want to miss. We'll play the end of the summer window. We still might make 1 or 2 more signings. We'll play more big games in La Liga, and we'll also have the Champions League group draw with Almeria heading to Europe's grand and biggest tournament for the first time ever. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.